Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode from the Hermitcraft server. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I'm having a fantastic day. I've got all the stuff for the sugarcane farm done. It's functional now, completely functional. And I want to go over just a couple of things, answer a couple of questions in the comments. So, did someone sleep? I guess someone slept. First of all, the biggest question that people asked is, why did you use 2 rows of pistons instead of just 1? Wouldn't 1 row of pistons in this little row right here be sufficient to break all the sugarcane? And the answer is yes, it would be. It would work for breaking the sugarcane. However, it causes a little bit of an issue, and that is that when the pistons retract, the stuff in the top row does not always fall into the water stream. It often falls onto the sand. So by having 2 rows of pistons, it breaks both of them and pushes them into the water stream. And that's why I'm using 2 rows of pistons instead of just 1. It would be cheaper on resources to only use 1 row of pistons, and it would work. There'd just be a lot more loss in the farm. The farm would basically lose a lot of resources that would just fall on the sand instead of ending up in the water stream. So that's why I used 2 rows of pistons for each little section instead of just 1. The other thing is that a lot of people asked is, why not use observers? Use observers, Wells. The thing is, observers are ugly. And I just don't like the way they look. So I could have put observers up here, and that would have, done the job, but I find them really ugly. However, I did use them for our little clock here. So basically, we've got 2 redstone lines that run down, 1 on each side, and they come to over here. And this is where I have let's do that. There we go. This is where our clock is set up. Okay, so basically, we have an observer. Down here, we have a piece of sugarcane, and we have a piston. So when this sugarcane grows up to the 3rd level, the observer will detect it and send out a redstone signal. It's running into a repeater because by default, the observer, I believe, only sends out a 1-tick pulse, and it causes the sticky pistons to extend but not retract. So we've got a repeater here to add a little bit of delay to it and slow down the pulse. And then it will also trigger this piston, which will then break this sugarcane and start the process over. So basically, whenever this sugarcane right here grows up to level 3, it's going to trigger all of the pistons in this whole thing, in the whole farm, and it will reset the clock. That's basically how it will work. And this thing is working fine. We're up to about 2 3/4 of a stack of sugarcane right now. But what we need to do is we need to make this thing look good, because right now it doesn't look very good. And unfortunately, I am almost completely out of andesite, which is one of the main blocks that I'm using for building this thing. So we're gonna go make more. What a lot of people don't know is that you can actually craft andesite. If you take some diorite, like so, and you grab a bit of cobblestone, like that, you can actually make andesite. A stack of cobblestone and diorite will make andesite. And look at that. Now we have all the andesite that we need for this whole build, and we actually have a use for diorite, which is not really good for anything else. Well, that's not completely true. I will say the new diorite looks better than the old diorite, and the polished diorite, the new stuff, I can think of maybe a couple of uses for it, but it's still overall, I think, a pretty ugly block. So let's go ahead and make a bunch of polished diorite, and then let's start working on this a little bit. So I'm thinking like right here, we're gonna kind of bring that across. And then I think this bit will kind of come up like so. I also want to get up here. There we go. And we're just going to kind of build this whole thing up like that. And then right here, we're going to go andesite coming across like this. And I think I'm just going to actually bring it all the way across as well. And then that'll kind of cap off this glass bit for us. There we go. So there's that side. And then over here, we're going to do essentially the same thing. Now, another thing I want to mention is that over there on the other side of the factory, someone laid out a build, and I said, I don't know who this person was, but I wanted to make sure I gave him space, so I left like 7 blocks between the build. This was Exuma, and apparently, I didn't know this, but he actually had plans to make kind of a pathway leading up to this build, and I basically put my sugarcane factory directly in the middle of where he had planned to build his path. And I didn't know that. He didn't have the path marked out or anything like that. So this is something that probably happens on servers fairly regularly. Sometimes you'll have plans for something and somebody else in the server will come in and build something that's in the way, and it's not necessarily anybody's fault. You know, I mean, obviously you can always do a better job of marking out your builds, but at the same time, you can also always try to be a little bit courteous of other server members. Maybe, you know, make sure you give them enough space. So, you know, this stuff happens, even on servers like Hermitcraft, and, you know, we're all friends, so we just settle it like adults. And by that, I mean we have trial by combat, to the death. No, not really. We just talked about it, and Exuma, I offered to move my farm. I said, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had plans to build a pathway right here. I'm happy to move this whole structure if you want me to, or help you move this, or whatever. And he's decided that he's just going to find a different spot to move whatever he was planning on building here. He's going to find a new spot for it. So, you know, I feel a little bit bad, but these things happen. It is what it is. And, you know, sometimes, you know, this is why it's kind of important to start marking out stuff pretty early in the season, I think. I think it's going to be really important for us to get kind of roads and sort of plots, if you will, laid out sooner rather than later. So that's probably something that we're going to be tackling as a group, I think, fairly soon, is starting to kind of mark out roads and places where stuff is going to go so that we can avoid stuff like this happening in the future. But now, with that said, let's grab a bit of this stuff. Let's make some stone brick. And let's start working on this a little bit. I've got some plans for how I kind of want the outside of this whole thing to look. Let me just grab some stairs here. And let me actually... I don't want to make that many stairs. Let's do that. There we go. Let's go ahead and make some stairs here. And what I'm thinking... we'll kind of start on the back side here. And I think we'll kind of go... maybe up to about here, however tall that is. And then right here, I think this is where I'm gonna want our little bit. Yeah, like right about here for now. And then I'll kind of build that up like one extra. And we're going to kind of mimic the same sort of style that we had on Welsco over there with these pillars, except it's just going to be a different block palette. And ultimately, the build's going to end up being a very different shape as well from Welsco. But let me kind of build this up a bit. Like so. Looking good. You know what? I just realized I don't have any stone slabs. Let's go and rectify that. There we go. That should do. And then I think what we'll do is back here, we'll take some stone brick up like this. Right? And just kind of go up to about there. All right, that should be fine. And then it's just a matter of bringing this pillar up, and we go boop, 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 and over here, same kind of a deal, right? And then finally, we take the stone slabs and sort of bring them around like so. And there we go. And then this'll be kind of the same deal right here, where we'll bring this up. We'll do just this little chunk of it together. I'm not going to do this entire thing on camera because it would be the entire episode just building this little wall. But I want to do this part of it together so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. I also need that. And then, yeah, okay, there we go. So this is kind of what it looks like right now, which is not, it's pretty gray. It's not super interesting, but we'll add some stuff to it in a little bit to make it look a bit more interesting. And the first thing I want to add is I actually do want to add a little bit of brick to this as well. So let's go, or maybe granite would actually look good. Let's try both. I don't know that it's necessarily going to matter. I do have some brick here, but let's just see what we think of this. Because what I'm thinking is I want to have sort of like a brick background block, if you will. Bring that up to here. You go there. You go here. Ooh, oh, that's andesite. And then we go like that. And then back here, or maybe we even want to change this as well. Do we want to do, or do we want to do the, I think we want to do it like here. Like that? Maybe? That or just right here in line with the pillars. I don't know that that would necessarily look bad. Let's try this. And actually, let me throw down a stone brick there. And here. Just so we have a flat surface to walk on top of. Maybe what we'll end up doing instead, kind of build this over, right? What if we got rid of these little bits that kind of stick out? And let's just see how this looks. Like, I'm fine with most of it. It's just like this little part right here. And then up here, this part would kind of come out like so. And like, that looks okay. That looks all right. I think if we're going to do that, these slabs definitely need to go. And that way you can actually see the brick a little bit better. I would like to actually get the bricks back, please. There we go. And I think this part needs to come out one then as well. How's that look? I don't know. Let me play around with this for a bit. and see what I can kind of come up with here, guys. I'll be back in just a minute. Alrighty, guys, I am back. It's actually been a couple of days since that last bit. I've been having some technical difficulties. Essentially, my internet went down for a couple of days, which is why there hasn't been a Hermitcraft episode. And, you know, honestly, like, my internet provider, I'm honestly very happy with them overall. They've been very good to me. But even no matter how good your internet provider is, every now and again, things happen. You know, stuff breaks, service goes down. It's just the reality of life. And this was one of those cases. So I haven't really been able to get on the Hermitcraft server or upload videos until today for the last couple of days. But we still have a bit to do. I've gotten most of the outside of the factory done, although it doesn't really look very factory-like at the moment. And I want to work on that. Do I not have... I don't really have a whole lot more stone brick. Tell you what, let's go and remedy that. Let me just grab... There we go. Let's go here. Let's just grab a couple stacks of that and make some stone brick. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, and good, I do have a crafting bench with me as well. I'm thinking I want to put 2 smokestacks on this factory, and I think this will really help the look of it and make it look a lot more industrial. And I'm thinking, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we put them centered on this pillar, that should... There we go. That should give us this nice kind of like rounded shape. It'll sort of stick out a little bit and go straight up. Basically where this andesite pillar is right here, that would end up being the center of the smokestack. And I think that'll actually look really nice. So let's just kind of sneak in here. And we'll just kind of get that in. There we go. And then... we just need to build this up a ways. Right? And the stuff that's like behind it, I can just leave that because it doesn't matter. I'll throw a torch down here just for a little bit of lighting. I don't think, now that I think about it, I don't think there are actually any spawnable areas down there anyway. But just in case... Oh, so this is high enough up that snow is gonna spawn. I didn't consider that, but I think I think it's still gonna be just fine. And then we'll kind of bring this over as well and go there. Okay, so this is basically where our smokestack is gonna be, up here. And we'll build this up. I don't know exactly how high we want this to go. Let's see. Right now we're at 1, 2... we're basically like 2 blocks above the slab, so 4. Maybe we'll go like 6? Like up to about here? That might be high enough that it'll kind of create the effect that we want. Right? And then I think... oh, I've actually already got some stairs. So I think we'll go like 6 and then do stairs facing in like so. And then what I'll probably want to do is get like some black something or other and put it like right about here, right? Just to kind of create that effect that, you know, it's a deep hole. Eventually, I do want to get either cobwebs or I'm really leaning towards like stained. There are mustache pillars. I can't even. Okay, that's fine. I want to create smoke and stuff eventually. I just don't really have the resources to do a lot with pillars or any of that kind of stuff at the moment, or not with pillars, with smoke at the moment. Eventually I want to get like cobwebs or you know, gray stained glass or something like that, that will have smoke coming out of these. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll have another one on the other side. And I think that'll look pretty good. I think that's going to be like what we want. So let me get the other one done. And then I think I also want to put like a triangular roof on this top bit kind of between the two smokestacks and see how that looks as well. All right, guys, I'm back. I've got the top done. I put a big sign on it that says sugar, and all that we really have left to do is this entranceway, and then the whole thing is basically finished. Go away, skeleton. So I think what we'll do, let me grab a little bit of stone brick slabs and some stairs and stuff like that. Grab a little granite, maybe some brick. The problem is I don't really have like any more. I have 5 brick. That's all I got, and it's so hard to get in an early in survival in general. Like, it's just miserable to get brick. But let's maybe go up like to here and kind of bring that down. Yeah, you can still see the brick up there. And then I think we'll probably want to go like this. The whole goal here is to essentially like wall this part here off. So let's just fill all that in with stone brick like so. And then up here, this is going to be ultimately the entranceway. And I think that'll work out. And then let's just kind of work our way up here. I do not have any torches. I need 1 torch. I need a torch. It's going to be important. There we go. Got a little bit of coal there. Let's just make some torches real quick. Because I do want this factory to be spawn-proof, because if I don't, then, you know, if anyone puts, like, a mob farm around here or anything like that, like, it's not going to work very well. And also, I didn't realize it, but mobs can actually spawn on the sand blocks if there's not sufficient light. I thought the sugarcane would prevent spawns, but apparently that's not the case. So I learned a new thing. Let's go here. And then we'll want to fill all of this in with stone brick, I think. Oh, I fell. Can I just reach those? Yeah, I can. Good. All right, there we go. So we've got our little bit right here. And then I'm thinking right here is where we'll put the actual doorway. Maybe we want to lower this a little, right? Because the door would go like right here. Here's what we'll do. I know. We'll go like that. We'll go slab, slab, stair, stair. Like this. So it's a little bit more of like a rounded entrance. And then maybe what we want to do is right here. Maybe use a little bit of granite. Which isn't going to look, like, amazing from this side, but maybe if we do something like that, just to give us a little bit. Yeah, I can't say I'm a huge fan. Yeah, I think I like it better as just the regular old stone brick. I think it looks better. So we'll just go like so. Maybe we turn this one into a stair. Nah, let's just leave it regular old stone brick, just like so. And then we got to put a door on this thing. And I believe I have some dark oak doors. Yeah, right there. And then that should basically be the factory. All good to go and all finished. So we'll put that there. We could do like a little bit of an entranceway here. Something like this. But I don't know that it's really needed. Like, I think we can probably just... Let's just try this real quick, just to give us like a little bit of a framework. Yeah, I don't know. What if we did something like that? Yeah, I like it better the way it was. We'll just leave it as a flat wall on the inside. There's other ways we could go about doing this, but I just don't really... Or maybe, maybe the way to do it would be... like that? Nah. Nah, we'll stick with what we had. This is fine. So there's our entrance into the skeleton farm. I'm gonna put a torch right here. It looks like there's a couple areas here that could still... I mean, this should all be lit up on the inside. The torches aren't ideal. I'd like to eventually, once I get more glowstone and stuff like that, put like some big kind of industrial lights in here. I think that would be kind of cool, like lamps hanging down from the ceiling. I just don't really have any glowstone at this point. I'm like super, super low on resources. So I think we'll just probably leave it as is. One thing I do want to do is way up here. I want to do that. I think that'll look a lot better. Just to have that little beam kind of going across. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty nice little improvement. And then I think we'll go ahead and do the same right there as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And maybe we want to do one more little cross beam right there. Just to kind of make the ceiling a little bit better looking. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so there we go. And during the time that this whole thing has been built, we've gotten a ton of sugarcane. Now remember, as I said, there was like a 2 or 3 day break in between when I started building this thing and the end of this episode because I had internet problems. So this thing has not been, you know, it's been running for longer than I would have expected, but these chunks haven't always been loaded and stuff like that. So we'll just kind of have to see how it all shakes out. One other thing I do want to try, I'm just kind of looking at this. I want to make some regular stone brick slabs. And let's actually do this with those instead. And maybe we'll do it like that. I think that'll look a little bit better. We'll go here. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like that a little better. And then the road ultimately will work its way over. And I don't know that we're going to do like this. I mean, this is kind of like the simplest but also most boring road ever. Just plain old stone slabs. So we'll work on something better down the road. But for the moment, I think this will work. And eventually I'll want to get in here and do some landscaping and stuff like that around here. But I think I kind of wanted to come up with like a plan for how this whole area is going to be terraformed and looked and, you know, with the retaining walls and all this other kind of stuff. We want it to look very man-made, I think. Lots of, like basically so the buildings will be very industrial, but I think the landscaping should also be very industrial, very man-made, very deliberate. Like people came and carved everything out, and rebuilt it, with a very kind of like industrial feel. But unfortunately, guys, I'm out of time for this episode, so I gotta call this one here. My friends, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.